Greetings, children of earth. My ancient eyes have long beheld our earth mother, and many long winters have been carried on my back. Since before the dawn of creation, I have travelled through the void, discovering and rediscovering the beauty of the great mystery. Wise I have become, and yet each new change in the planetary family continues to allow my understanding to grow further, as if I were a newborn babe. Before the creation of our physical world, I was innocent and yet hungry to know the mysteries of life. I have recorded each change completed and each season learned along the path of beauty in order to mark the growth of all life forms. I have soared with eagle high above the canyons of time, observing the evolution of the planetary family. You and I are alike in many ways, though you are human and I am a stone person. We both feel through our hearts. We both learn through experiences shared with all our relations. Every relation has personal missions to complete, so that life abundant may flourish and grow. I have been a teacher and friend to many two-legged humans, teaching them the similarities among all members of the planetary family. I am the oldest of earth tribes, the stone people. Our earth-forged bodies have been fashioned from the erupting heat of volcanic creation and the ice-blue cold that tempers our ancient spirits. The remembering of each tempered spirit set in stone allows us to hold the memories and record of all that has ever occurred in this world. From other stone people who have fallen from the great star nation, we have learned much of other galaxies. The meteorites who have joined us from the stars have added to our knowledge and to the libraries carried within the rock bodies. We have many stories to tell the children of earth about the worlds that came before the written histories of the two-legged humans. I have waited until now, the dawning of this fifth world of peace, to set these stories in motion. I am called Geeh Yuk, or 7 talents, in one of your Native American languages. I have come to teach you how the language of the stones came to be and to bring forth these ancient rememberings. Those of you who have ears to hear and eyes to see and hearts to understand know that these truths are for all races, all people. The great mystery created the children of earth in different colors, so that one day they would come together and compose the whirling rainbow tribe of peace. Now is the dawning of this special time. The promise of world peace is unfolding. We of the stone tribe trust that the path of beauty will be made clear to all two-leggeds. Once they remember the victories and the failures of the other worlds that flourished and then passed into oblivion. Those old worlds have served the children of earth by leaving legacies that gently point the way to the new world's prophecy of peace. We, your ancient brothers and sisters of the Stone Tribe, are here to remind you that the time is now and that the power of this prophecy lives in you. This reading comes from Other Council Fires Were Here Before Ours. The stone person speaks medicine from the past to our future. A classic Native American creation story is retold by Seneca elder Twylah Nitch and her granddaughter Jamie Sams. Creation. O great mystery, what is this I feel? The vastness, the total darkness, and the sense of well-being. My heart answered my question with a flutter because there was nothingness surrounding me. My mind raced with possibilities only to be surprised that I had the ability to think. Oh, grandfather, grandmother, is this a joke you are playing on me? This darkness is limitless, and yet I have no fear. Great One, my mind called out, where am I? My senses are reaching out into the eternal void and feeling the textures of joys I have never known. Oh, great mystery, I whispered. Inside of that I am feeling there is a growing presence that baffles me. What are these new sensations? My mind sought to identify the emerging phantom of exquisite beauty, only to have it merge with me. Shudders of complete happiness overtook me when I melded with the phantom, and suddenly I knew. I understood the mysteries of the void. In unparalleled ecstasy, my mind soundlessly cried out in gratitude to the original source. Great mystery, you live in me, as in all other thoughts here in the emerging void. I give you thanks and praise for this joy I feel, knowing the wholeness of potential creation and knowing that I belong to it. My thoughts rolled through the deep nothingness of the void, touching other ideas and feelings, then came to rest somewhere in the inky darkness. I felt an eruption in the blackness and watched as a brightness was birthed. Light came into being and gave sight to all the inhabitants of the void. A cloud-like substance began to arise and encircle eternal land as great mystery created the field of plenty. All that would ever be needed in creation began to form as patterns of light and thought. I marveled as each idea exploded into wondrous expressions of feelings, colors, and tones. The limitlessness of great mystery's abundance sent shimmering rainbows of light through me. I felt the goodness and beauty of every new part of creation as each emerged. Patterns of colors traveled through the mists, uniting and dancing with one another in endless space. As I responded to the ecstatic waves that emanated from every thought, I noticed that I, too, was a patterned set of colors dancing in the light. I reveled in the discovery and observed the changes in me when other designs touched my being. I felt each feeling as music, color, heights of knowing and joy, soundless though they were. Each thought form became rhythms of great mystery's heartbeat, silently dancing on. Each life form was a thought of interlaced beauty playing upon every other harmony nestled in the endless space. The void was full of wondrous gifts of beauty, each evolving and exploding into new heights of love. Great mystery noticed that the music of the spheres was felt but was not heard. The gift of listening was added to creation, and eternal land was complete. O Swenyo, my heart cried out, you who are the great mystery have given us yet another gift of love that makes my spirit soar. My mind was filled with the presence of melodious rhythms that commanded my feelings until each emotion was felt and explored in fullness. I began to understand that I was everywhere and nowhere, empty and full, all and nothing at the same time. Like me, eternal land was an indivisible uniworld, created in wholeness as a unified expression of Swenyo's love. A translucent sphere began to encapsulate eternal land as the field of plenty prepared each unique life form for manifestation in the first world, which would be called Devashava, the beginning. Many patterns and colors of light gathered together as great mystery rolled some matter from the field of plenty into a bubble. The gifts of beauty that would live within the bubble of matter sprang forward and disappeared within the ball. Sueño breathed upon the sphere, giving it physicality, and called it Grandfather's Son. This was the first divine act of creation that manifested thought into form. Love was the essence of the Grandfather's Son. All of eternal land was awed by the intensity of his golden light. Great mystery decreed that sun would feed all who came into his circle with love. Grandfather Sun's mission was to give warmth, light, and love to all creation unconditionally. He was to be a constant reminder of all Sueño's children that each of them carried a part of the eternal flame of great mystery's love, and that none were excluded from the source of light. Patterns of silver and blue swirled by my line of vision, weaving a new wonder to behold. My music of the sphere softened, and chimes tinkled in delicate harmonies as great mystery formed the body for these gifts of beauty to enter. Another sphere, smaller than Grandfather's Sun, was rolled from the void into the first world. The silvery light laced with the palest of blue gently gathered Grandfather Sun's light, taking it into her body and reflecting it outward once again. Grandmother Moon had been birthed from the limitlessness of the spirit world in a glory all her own. Her gentle beauty touched my heart as she spoke to us of her mission, which was to give light in the place of darkness that would be called night. The second manifestation, Moon, was the reflector of Grandfather Sun's love and the weaver of our feelings, making them into dreams as we rested. To give our feelings substance, Sueño, the great mystery, called forth shimmering waters from the field of plenty and gave Grandmother Moon the mission of weaving the ebb and flow of the countless waves of emotion. The dancing fluid substance called water encircled Grandmother Moon and joyously exploded into shining droplets, coming together again in a body of liquid silver blue spiraling into the reflected light of Grandfather's Sun. Water's song were varied and spontaneous. As water touched the other light patterns and gifts of beauty, the melodies and harmonies changed because the liquids would reflect the feeling of those whom it touched. Great Mystery smiled and gave water its mission of cleansing, refreshing, and reflecting new feeling within all it would touch in its journey. Water was told that it would have two parts to its nature, the refreshing and feeding aspect of water, which would be fresh, and the cleansing and releasing aspects would be contained in salt. The part of water that had salt in it carried the feelings of sadness away, finding a new and revitalized use for the transformed droplets. The fresh and salt aspects of water would return to skies of eternal land to share the new understandings of all feelings. Water encountered with the cloud and sky people. Great Mystery realized that water did not fully understand how this process would work, and so the fourth act of creation began. We all looked deep into the void as Sueño once again pulled a misty substance from the field of plenty and rolled it into a ball that began to manifest as a swirling blue-green orb of light. As it took form, Earth was her name, and she was a glory to behold as she sat between Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon. Great Mystery spoke to our hearts and decreed that Earth would be the mother of countless life forms that would manifest physically when the time came. Sueño then called forth all of the colored light patterns that would be a part of the Earth Mother's body. These future manifestations would live as thoughts inside her form until the time of their births into physicality. I felt deep within the core of my being the pull so strong that I cried out in joy. I had been chosen. I was to be a part of the Earth Mother. I was to know my talents and missions. I marveled in wonder as I began a spiral dance and flew across the void, spinning in exquisite patterns of frolicking light. New colors and feelings erupted from my core and sent their patterns dashing across the indigo vastness of space. Just as I was about to enter the form of the Mother Earth, Great Mystery spoke to my total being and etched eternal wisdom and new knowing into my memory. Swenyo's voice spoke in the midst of my revelry. You are a child of Earth, no less than any of her other creations. You will manifest as a part of her body and will hold the history of her passage in your heart. As will all my other creations, you will carry my deep love within you in the form of the eternal flame. You will be called Geeh Yuk, which means 7 talents. Your talents will be used to enlighten other children, so they may recognize the personal talents and abilities. You are a person and a teacher for those who seek to know the truth of the Earth Mother's wisdom. Danaho, it has been decreed. I felt a new emotion coming up from deep inside of me as I held Great Mystery's words in my memory. This new feeling was one of belonging to a whole that honored my mission and my part in creation. I felt the perfection of Swenyo's plan emerge in my new knowing systems. Then I was told about my personal talents. Geeh Yuk, Great Mystery whispered, your talents will find many ways to express themselves on the earth walk you are about to take. Use these talents and develop the abilities that are inside of your spirit. These talents are faith, love, intuition, will, creativity, magnetism, and healing. You will know how to find and develop the gifts as you live in the physical world. When Great Mystery spoke these last words to me, I was pulled into the body of Earth Mother and felt a warm glow surround me with her love. From inside her body I continued to watch the dawning of creation, as Swenyo continued to arrange patterns of eternal beauty and set them in motion, dancing and playing throughout the void. Soon all the patterns had been placed and given their decrees and missions. Life abundant had quickened, and the gifts of beauty, with their miracles of wisdom, began to spiral around with such a speed that their interactions created the harmony that added to the melody of Swenyo's creative orchestration of natural order among the orbiting bodies of sun, moon, and earth. The song of each individual creation melded and became one with all others. The celestial world filled with the music of the spheres, becoming whole and yet unmanifested physically, inside of the heart of Great Mystery. The celestial spirit world was endowed with wisdom and perfection, where life, unity, and equality would be held in sacred trust forever. No discord could penetrate the melodious feelings of at-one-ment, atonement, that emanated from every spirit as the crescendo of unified hearts came together as one. Swenyo breathed the eternal flame of love into the center of each life form and told us that the inner space would be called our vibral cores. These special places inside our beings would be the home of our wisdom, our sense of balance, our understanding of eternal at-one-ment. Upon touching my vibral core, I began to develop my first gift of faith. At that moment, I understood wholeness and would trust that feeling forever. The gift of sacred trust would empower my faith and inflame my creativity as I moved forward, spiraling into space with the evolving whole. Great Mystery collected substance and added it to the creation of the spirit world in eternal land, As each creation received matter, each moved through the void and was born in the space of the physical world. Each part of creation sang gratitude to great mystery from the inheritance of beauty, wisdom, love, equality, and wholeness as life was breathed into form. Seeds of growth were placed in perfect order in the vastness of our new physical world. Each life form was given the ability to give and receive. All was in balance and harmony as life abundant flowed through the beginning of the new sky world, which Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon, and Mother Earth would now call home. Read by Shanti, Violet, Bluebird.